and consents. David, would you like to
Just
move?
a few comments, if
Yep.
I may.
Yep.
We opened our last meeting with a presentation from Robert Wright from the Building Control Unit. Very humorous man, but he gave us an exceptionally good briefing on the continuous improvement project that operates, program I should say, that operates within the Building Control Unit. And I believe it's something that could be well utilised in other parts of council where staff have the ability to raise issues of concern, changes to policy, all sort of focused around a program they call the Vault, where things get in and they get elevated to various levels of staff within the building control unit and dealt with fairly quickly. So it's an exceptionally good program, and I would recommend that it is looked at for other parts of the organisation. Secondly, the building control unit report itself, things are going very well there. The residential consenting statutory time frame is sitting around 99%, and commercial in the high 90s as well. I think last time was around 93. So that's sitting pretty well. We have a return from IANZ due in early August. The building control unit is sitting fairly comfortable with that visit. They're quite confident that they have all issues sitting in a satisfactory manner for that visit. And lastly, just in terms of some of the work that the Regulations and Consents Committee will be touching on, where we've invited the Enforcement Unit to report to that committee on a bi-monthly basis. I think that's about all for now.
Very good. Thank you. And you'd like to move that and second it by Tom?
Just one other thing. Perhaps Paul may like to comment of the have a mayoral quality regulation review task force. Quite a mouthful. We have met once so far, just looking at structure and improvements with rules reduction may go. Comment on that?
Look, I've received some information back from Mike Teeland, and rather than looking at what can be done to reduce rules, is what the council currently is doing, and it's actually doing quite a lot in that space. However, there are some low-hanging fruit we can also pick off to actually improve some of the process we do. But the organisation has got a massive program of actually how they can reduce the whole rules and regulations we are currently sort of using to move forward. The other thing too is I know with the Mayor obviously wants us to look at the public art and
Thank you. I was going to mention that.
and I have asked the staff to actually look at that. It's a process we need to unpack, and there's two different parts to it. We need to completely unpack it and re-put it back together so they come in as under one piece of work. Yeah. And
because there's two different routes that you can go down, and you know, I must admit, have to apply for a resource consent just goes shudder.
I suppose it's over years of you know, we don't want anybody putting anything anywhere.
No. I agree with that. I agree that they have to apply, but it would be really good if the community boards, you know, for like the sculpture that we unveiled. Yeah, exactly. You know, why that had to go through a resource consent process of the scale.
Well, we only got round that one in the end because we had licence to occupy, but I mean the whole thing needs to be reviewed. But
we do.
Anyway, I think it's a committee that and it's opening some quite interesting avenues and a bit of work to do yet.
Yeah, well, I'll share that information with the committee when they next meet, and we'll bring that back to the council to have a look at what the you know, as I say, the council is actually doing to actually reduce issues or the things they deal with much more streamlined manner.
Okay, well, I'm just sending a note to my office to invite you to all three of you to a meeting next week, which I have organised with Jackie Dean MP, who is representing the Minister on some of the work that's being done on regulations, red tape issues. So, and I think it would be great that she saw that the team's already working on these issues.
Quick comment on that. Interesting enough, that government rules reduction was mostly based around the building stuff, and it was actually stuff the government actually implemented. It shouldn't be IE, so it
was a different government, though.
I went to a meeting held, and they invited developers along, and it seemed to be mostly council bashing really than actually looking at. People confuse what MB issues, what the building code and the council's issues are. They mould them all together.
They do, yeah. And the other thing is that, I mean, I actually spoke to Jackie Dean on the phone, and I said that, you know, some of the regulatory imposts are actually a requirement of central government. It's the only way that we can, you know, address issues. So sometimes Parliament, with the best will in the world, you know, opening up, you know, communities having involvement, for example, in local alcohol plans, creates a regulatory framework for decision making, which is actually sometimes counterintuitive, sometimes counterproductive. So I'm just saying that there are issues that central government imposes on local government, having been one of those, and the consequences of those are not always obvious to those that are looking for the easy ones and the low-hanging fruit, as you say. So I think we need to make sure that people realise that we're looking for what our council does. I think that would be really helpful. So I'll make sure that you get the invite to the meeting. All right, I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. And now we move on to